The rest of the day whizzed by due to the constant hustle and bustle. While guests left, Hendrik asked if I wanted to help take down the extra lights and decorations in the cave. Together with Rosemary and Kyler, we successfully stockpiled the cutouts and wrapped up the strung lights. Is that everything?
Seems so. Thanks for helping out. Switching the lights off now.
I watched Hendrik as he flicked off multiple switches in the wet screen room, causing the cave to grow dimmer and dimmer until it was completely black. Can you imagine being a Neanderthal walking into a cave for the first time? What thoughts they had as they took their first steps inside?
These rock formations are pretty cool.
Ugh, no. Hendrik, you have no imagination. Melissa, what do you think? Me? I squinted my eyes and stared into the abyss. Well, Rosemary hates this one. I'm gonna keep this for Hendrik's route. They'd probably think it was dark and a little scary. Who knows if there'd be cave bears lurking around. They were more adventurous than you assume. 40,000-year-old paintings have been found deep in a cave in Spain, created by Neanderthal hands, of course. They obviously carried torches. They didn't just linger at the front entrance.
I think the cave painting is still up for debate, since its date overlaps with Homo sapiens.
I'm sure Neanderthals did it. It's been proven they used red ochre up to 250,000 years ago. They must have put it toward artistic use.
Like a starless night.
Ooh, you look like you have something to say. He hastily glanced at the floor, carefully considering his answer.
Well, if a Neanderthal entered a cave for the first time, they'd notice how muted their surroundings would become, save for footsteps and maybe the dripping of water. Without fire, it'd be like witnessing a starless sky. They'd see that the climate inside was stable, and their torch's light wouldn't reach some of the higher ceilings. They'd have to gauge the size with more than just their eyes. They'd be entering a completely different environment. Maybe that's why their paintings were drawn so deep into the caves. It was like a spiritual place for them.
The reflective moment was broken by Rosemary's hearty laughter and a slap to Kyler's shoulder, causing him to flinch. Ah! You seriously thought of this before! See, this is what I meant! Imagination! I admit, Kyler, I always thought you were a total bore. What's the term you used once, Melissa? A square? Yes, a square. If I'd known you had a creative side, I would have made a bigger effort to talk to you. Come, let's chat about Neanderthals over some drinks. I'd love to hear more about it. Rosemary linked arms with Kyler and stepped toward the exit. He flashed Hendrik a frantic save me look. Hendrik noticed and raised a hand as if to halt Rosemary.
Have fun.
He wiggled his fingers goodbye. Kyler's mouth dropped, shocked at Hendrik's total lack of effort, while Rosemary dragged him outside. Will he be okay?
He'll be fine. It'll be good for him. On second thought, I should keep an eye on them, knowing Rose.
Oops. Maybe not. Whew. Please don't fail at anything, girl. Please. Yeah. Oh, pardon me. Like every Thursday, the students celebrated harder than usual. Party music filled the air, people danced, and there were groups chatting outside. Of course, I moved my body to the beat. When the song ended, I politely excused myself from the dance floor for a quick break. It's past noon back home. Mom probably replied to my email by now. I entered the lab and leaned over the chair position before my laptop. It would only take a few moments to read. Well, it did, but then I found adorable bunny videos. Melissa. So predictable. Please tell me this is Shoji coming to ask us to dance.
Melissa?
Hey, boo. I turned and Shoji paused in the doorway before entering. Shoji really left his tent at this time. Hey, something up?
Yes, it finally happened in a romantic route instead of the friendship route. Yes.
I mean, it happened in DeAndre's route too, but finally, this guy gets it.
Remember a few weeks ago when you asked me to dance?
Uh-huh.
And, I declined.
Right.
And how you said that if I ever decided to ask you to dance, you'd always say yes. Does it still apply?
Of course it does. I promised, after all.
Ah, I wasn't sure if you were saying that to be nice, or...
No, I meant it. Shoji blushed deeper and fell silent. I guess the focus on him was too much again. Come on, you did ask me to dance. He nodded and I followed him outside, only for him to halt. The music had switched to a more rave-like atmosphere along with the, rather erotic dance moves. Oh no. Shoji immediately shirked back.
They were playing a bunch of slow songs in a row before. I guess I took too long.
Wait, how long did he stand in the hallway before asking me? Like the time he froze in the museum because someone was in his tent. That someone shall remain nameless.
I'm sorry about this. Maybe another time.
You went through the trouble of asking. Here, I'll make a song request. I froze when I noticed his pleading look. I could tell he regretted the whole thing now. Oh, Shoji.
It's fine. I'm not comfortable dancing with all those people.
You know, if it's not too much, we can dance upstairs.
Huh?
That way we'll be away from the crowd. He nodded, and I grabbed my laptop, encouraging him to follow me upstairs. Switching on the lights, I positioned the laptop on the table. Any requests? I pretty much got everything from video game soundtracks to classical.
I don't know much about music and dancing.
Then how about... Shoji saw the highlighted song and groaned.
Aw. The Ishtara ballroom song? Are we really going in that direction?
Despite his protest, I think it helped him relax. Good going, girl. Okay, maybe that's too geeky. Here, this one is a nice slow swing song. The smooth R&B started, and Shoji followed me to the middle of the floor. I grabbed his hand, and he flinched, then sheepishly wiped his pants.
Sorry, my hands are sweaty.
Don't worry about it. You're not the first, and you will not be the last dance partner with sweaty hands. Believe me, I dance competitively. It's nothing. Now grab my sweaty hand. Ah, it's so cute! Ah! I think this is my favorite dancing picture so far. I love the way that they're just looking at each other. Aw. And he's not too much taller than her. That's a nice change.
Cute.
To reassure him, I carefully guided his arm to my back, and then intertwined my right hand with his. Gently, I swayed our bodies side to side, barely moving our feet to keep it simple. What made you decide to ask me?
Well, it's an important hobby to you, and I felt bad for saying no the first time.
Aw, don't beat yourself up over it. You had other plans, and I kinda sprung it on you. Still, thank you. I appreciate it. He said nothing, but his grip on my hand tightened. We continued to shift our weight to the rhythm until the song ended. We slowly pulled away as the last note lingered.
Thank you.
Even if it was just one dance, it was fun. Feel free to ask me out anytime. Ask me out. Just, hey, can you ask me out, please? Please, Shoji. Before I die of stress. Oh no. I grinned as I glanced over the cover of Motel Dawn 2. Uh-huh. It was in French, but Shoji mentioned it had other language options, including English. Earlier, while discussing games, I lamented that one series didn't have its sequel released in North America. Turned out he knew what I was talking about, and he owned it. I can't believe we didn't get this one. Usually North America gets the game first, too.
I remember we would be lucky to get certain games, or we'd have to wait for months.
Thanks for letting me borrow it. It'll give me something to do this weekend.
What do you usually do over the weekends here?
Nothing really. Sleep in, go for a morning jog, study, dance, game. Cry over the scary noises at night. Why?
I was wondering, if it's no problem, maybe I could visit on the weekend? Not stay long or anything, since I have to help with the shop and all. Unless you already have plans. I don't want to impose.
This weekend, or next weekend. Next weekend stuff is usually friendship route. This is probably the break right here. Okay, we'll make plans for this weekend. No, it's not imposing at all. If anything, I'd love it. It'd be nice to hang out and relax. Shoji seemed surprised by my answer for a moment. My moment for an answer. Then perked up happily. I had the feeling he'd been bracing for a different answer. Wait, what about your mom? Shouldn't you stay with her instead? She recently left the hospital, right?
Yeah, she was only there for a few days to have her health monitored. She's currently resting at home. Whenever I discussed about returning to help in the evenings, I'd get scolded for worrying too much. My mom was actually the one who
Encouraged me to ask you out on a date-o.
Oh, I see. You talked about the excavation. She knows you've made friends here and she's encouraging you to spend time with them.
Shoji's mom knew about me?
That's exactly it.
With how quickly he agreed, I knew it wasn't the full story, but it eased his nerves.
Are there any games you'd like me to bring, or?
Shoji and I worked out the details. Now I had something to look forward to. Huzzah! Maybe that'll lower my stress.
No,
I only have 15 points and then I'm dying. Come on, internet.
yes, thank you.
Oh no, I needed that so badly. Oh, hello. We were in the lab for a brief moment. What time is it? He should be here soon. When I heard gravel being kicked up in the driveway, I knew it was Shoji. There you are! I exaggerately spread out my arms and gestured toward the museum. Welcome to Kalen Cave when it's deserted and haunted.
It doesn't appear that different from the weekdays.
Believe me, it's different. I set up the TV and stuff upstairs. I just need to finish checking a few things on my computer and then I'll join you.
Sounds good.
Well, that's why I was in the lab. He trooped upstairs and I maneuvered over to the lab. After closing the applications, I set the laptop to sleep and left to find Shoji. What game did... I trailed off when I realized the TV wasn't on and the chairs were at the table instead. Centered on the table was a small wooden board with a deck of cards beside it. Ooh, a board game. What's this? Consoles weren't compatible with the TV? Shoji circled to the other side of the table and pulled out a seat. How gallant.
No. I was thinking that we always play video games, and I thought this would be a nice change of pace.
So we're transitioning from video games to card games.
Tiny steps.
I approve. We sat down and Shoji shuffled the cards expertly. I glanced at the little board, vaguely familiar with the design.
Have you played Crib before?
Only on my phone.
I usually play... good grief. I'll try that again. I usually play Crib with my parents. At first, I'd rather be glued to the computer and I had to be dragged into it, but I've come to appreciate things like this recently. Lowest card deals.
Oh no, it's on. The gaming is on.
He cut the deck and presented the bottom half to me. I'm sorry, I'm like really intimidated now that he's got that anime game face on. I picked up an 8 of clubs while he got a lower card. I returned the card and he shuffled them again.
Do you want to include muggins?
Muggins? Yeah, sure, why not? I admit I never used the muggins rule when I played the virtual game. Muggins was a rule where a player could add points to their score if another player overlooked points from their own hand, or were the chances the computer would overlook its own scoring. Once he dealt, I collected my 6 cards and scanned over them thoughtfully. My hand was decent, although I wasn't sure if I wanted to break up a pair or a run. After Shoji got his crib hand and the deck card was flipped over, we started to play. The game went smoothly, but eventually Shoji got higher scoring hands, and he seemed to know which cards to keep or give up. Even though it was my crib, I tossed down my hand dejectedly and sighed. Oh, only 4 points.
Muggins for 1 point. You missed the jack in your hand, which matches the starter card.
What? Oh. He advanced his green peg by 1. Soon he started to gain extra points that way. Oh, yes. Excellent. He's enjoying himself immensely. She's like, ugh. How did I miss that pair? Stop mugganines me, darn you. You're like triple skunking me at this point.
Sorry, I'll remove the rule. I thought you were familiar with Crib.
I am, but scoring was automatic, so I never paid attention to how the counting was done. Not surprisingly, Shoji won the game by a landslide, and I feigned a minor fit. Blast! I should have expected that, though. You play the game way more than I do.
This is more engaging than going against a computer, don't you think?
Well, I can set the computer to easy. I hear you.
I thought I was rather lenient. Near the end.
You're a difficult opponent, even outside of video games. Still, this is a nice change of pace.
I'm glad. For a while I was worried we'd downgrade to hobby friends or something like that.
Hobby friends?
You know, the friends you make because you share one common pastime. However, outside of that hobby, you know next to nothing about them and don't have much interest. I was worried we'd just be casual gaming friends, like in the other routes you've done.
Guilt. I promise it'll never happen to us. We reached up for the peg simultaneously, causing our fingers to bump. He hastily withdrew.
Sorry.
It's fine. You can do it. It's your game.
We should probably call it a day. It took longer than I thought.
As he dug the pegs out, I noticed how much wear and tear the board had. A few scratches here, paint fading there, and the metal slot beneath the wood was bent. I felt honored. There were probably fond memories surrounding that board, and he wanted to share it with me. Straightening up the deck, his hand shuffled again as he grew pensive. Oh.
Melissa, do you ever plan to return here?
I admit, I haven't even thought past next week, let alone the fall semester. But I'd love to come back again. I've really enjoyed my time here, and I'll miss you when I go. The deck slid out of his grip, and he fumbled with it before the cards scattered on the table. Flustered, he gathered the pile, and I collected a few of the stray ones.
Same. Same here. Melissa,
The words caught in his throat, and he gazed down at the cards.
We'll stay in contact, right?
Of course. The time difference might be a pain, though. You'll be 8 hours ahead.
I don't mind. I can be a bit of a night owl.
After grabbing his knapsack, he packed up his things, and I accompanied him outside. Thanks for coming tonight. I'll see you Monday. Say hi to your mom for me.
I will.
We stood there awkwardly, compelled to take action, and yet neither of us budging an inch. Finally, I stepped forward and gave him a gentle side hug, patting his back. Drive safe. A tentative arm rested against my shoulder blade before we parted.
Night, Melissa.
Ah, it's so cute. I waved at him as he drove off. Once I was alone, I couldn't help but mull over the sentence Shoji had self-interrupted, along with his question regarding Belgium. And he looked so forlorn when he brought it up. I wonder. I'm so stupid. I buried my face in my hands and inhaled deeply. How did I miss the signs the first time? Was I too busy losing at crib to pick up on them? Well, I tended to have a one-track mind. I'll make up for this somehow. Sorry, Shoji, your crush is dense. His mom was probably going to ask how his date went, too. Whoops. Seriously, girl, you didn't get it? How could you not have got any of that, girl? Oh no, please dance. Why? Why do I fail? I can't dance when I know I've hurt my boo so badly. I'm a failure at everything. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I just noticed that I ran out of recording space. And so I had to, I noticed my thing stopped recording. I'm like, no, I'm out of space. So I had to go back, reload, go through that week. I skipped all the stuff, but as you can see, my stress is way lower than it was before, so I succeeded a lot more at stuff, which is good. So I think I want to do like a couple of gamings. I don't often get volunteer scenes with DeAndre. Watch Monday's gonna be the one time. And then otherwise I think we'll leave it. Maybe a couple games. We'll see how that goes this week. Okay. Let's get back on track, because I think this is our last week with him. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, okay. Ah! I get a chibi! Game over. No! That's so cute! Yay, I was hoping. I'm like, I should put some gamings in, because sometimes you get like a scene in the chibi scene with your boo. And we did, so I'm happy. I'm happy that worked out.
Still assembling your team?
Quiet you, I'm strategizing. I scanned through my mock-it selection, carefully picking the critters based on high speed and defense stats. It seemed no matter what I did, Shoji would wipe my team out instantly. If I could only get my mock-its to survive longer than one turn.
What are you two doing?
Oh. What are you two doing?
I glanced up, spotting DeAndre who had finished zipping up his tent. Plain mock-its. I heard him snicker, but he approached me and peered over my shoulder to view the screen.
That series is still around?
You've played it before?
Yeah. When I was 10.
Oh ho, look who is so mature and has outgrown their video games.
Has the series changed at all? Wow, aside from the added colors, it's practically untouched.
The series has been pretty faithful to its first installment.
Is that Mocket the shape of a doorknob? Use him, use him!
Because of that, the nostalgia factor remains strong and it's still widely played.
Don't say what I'm selecting, now I'll have to pick another one. The battle system.
The battle system has remained untouched for the most part, but starting with the third generation, they added...
Is that an ice pop? These designs are ridiculous.
They still have some of the original mock-its. Remember this one?
Wow, this brings back memories. I always had that rat thing in my party because of the cartoon.
I wanted to talk about video games.
I scrolled down the list while DeAndre pointed out the mock-its that caught his eye. When I glanced over at Shoji, he stared intently at his screen again as if reconsidering his team.
And you've played every single installment since?
Pretty much.
I bet the first generation is still the best one.
I playfully elbowed him, but he quickly dodged my attack and gave us a cheerful wave. Get out of here, you're interrupting our date.
Have fun, kids.
Grinning, he departed, and I rolled my eyes before returning to my game. Shoot, what mock-its was I picking again? Sorry about that, I'll get my team ready now. I selected the last few, and the screen prompted us if we were prepared to start the battle. Tapping confirm, I looked up. Usually Shoji wished me good luck or said something else encouraging, but his expression was vacant. I input my first attack, but Shoji didn't seem too engaged in the battle. I'm like, don't be worried, we're not going for him this time. Poor sweet Shoji.
It's nothing. I noticed that you and DeAndre appear to be very close.
We're always like that. He says dumb stuff and sometimes I kick him in the shin. Just because our interactions are more lively and involve physical violence doesn't mean I like hanging out with you any less. We're more acquaintances than friends anyway.
Still, the both of you get along so well.
I squinted at the next round. Shoji picked some attack that barely did any damage to my mock-it. That definitely wasn't like him. Are you okay? Your head isn't in the game.
That was a mistake. I blanked out for a moment.
He trailed off, and I sighed, realizing why his behavior was off, finally. Slipping my feet into my sandals, I stood up and stretched. Panic flickered across his face when he saw what I was doing. What?
Sorry.
Before he could finish apologizing for whatever conclusion he jumped to, I halted in front of him. He looked confused, and I made a sweeping motion with my fingers. Scoot. He complied and shuffled toward to the edge of the air mattress. I pivoted and sat beside him, inching closer until my side leaned against him. There we go. There we go. Now we can play together. Okay? I'll touch you gently. I won't kick you in the shin like DeAndre. So cute. My shoulder touched his and I felt his entire body heat up. Blushing, he quickly adjusted his glasses, his eyes not leaving his device. For a moment we said nothing, our fingers not even tapping the buttons. If you cheat and look at my screen during battle, I'm leaving. A chuckle escaped his lips. I couldn't see his face well, but I sensed he was calm again.
Even if you watch my screen, I'll still win.
What? My eyes darted and I scanned his mock-it team. You always seem to know what types I use.
If you want, I could walk you through my strategy.
Sure.
You tend to use culinary and pixie types. Therefore,
Hopefully my feelings reached him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can play together. There we go. Successful this time. Excellent. Oh. Caving, not so much. Oh well. We're getting there though. We got this. We're in the home stretch. Though it makes me sad that we're more acquaintances than friends with DeAndre even. Oh. Man, my diamond's almost completely full. This is wonderful. Just wonderful. Fabulous. Let's play game.